Joining us live now, as you can see, with his weekly take on political news from all levels of government, is CTV's political commentator, Scott Reid. Scott, I think, is this the first time we're seeing you in the new year? Or did we see you?
No, we saw you last week.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
That
was pretty memorable.
Happy New Year.
All the best returns. I wish you nothing but joy in 2026.
I wasn't awake for that one, I
It's
guess.
all around. Okay, Scott, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, interesting week for the Prime Minister. Before he heads further to the east, he's in the western part of Canada, meeting with coastal First Nations. Interesting meeting here because of this major projects and the plan to maybe put a pipeline in and around there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't really know what to expect. Is this a meeting where the Prime Minister says, I had committed to meeting with you and I'm going to come out and I'm going to meet with you and hear you out? Or is this a meeting where they think real progress can be achieved? Because the BC Coastal First Nations have been very, very vocal in their concerns about a pipeline to the Pacific Northwest and off the coast. So we'll see what comes out. He's bringing firepower. He's bringing the Minister of Natural Resources, who is at least in economic terms, effectively the Deputy Prime Minister of the country these days. So it'll be interesting to see what that meeting produces. So we'll be watching that. Is there a thaw in the relationship? And the Prime Minister's card that he keeps trying to play is, we're not just going to ask you to do this and suffer through it. We are going to provide you with an equity ownership stake in anything that gets done so that you get sustaining returns economically in order to generate development and better conditions in terms of community.
And then the next step is China. What about that?
China. Now this is high stakes politics. High stakes politics and high stakes economics.
Yeah.
If the United States is going to be shutting down its market to us, or at least closing some of its doors economically to us, then we must go looking for trade opportunities elsewhere. We must find other people to buy our goods if the United States says we're no longer interested in buying it in the same bulk and quantity. So we go to China. We're looking for relationships there. We're looking to see if we can resume trade, boost it. But it's unbelievably tricky political territory because, just think about it, what's the biggest irritant? Canola. Huge tariffs on our canola, huge tariffs on lobster trade. Right? Do we see the Prime Minister and the President of China thaw out those relationships? The quid pro quo, though, to do that would be to lower tariffs on Chinese EVs, and that will, of course, trigger anger, not just from Doug Ford in the auto sector here in central Canada, but from Donald Trump. Almost at every turn, in order to make gains with the Chinese, we have to trade that off against the risk that Donald Trump will see it as a threat. Trump right now is in a position where he says to Canada, I don't want to buy your stuff, but I'm also going to veto your ability to trade with others. And it puts us in this awkward position. And yet it's Donald Trump who's driving us into the arms of the China. It's not like we want to deal with China. It's not like we've suddenly concluded, what a wonderful regime. They're so committed to wonderful values. But we got to do something. And so Donald Trump, on the one hand, says, you're going to have to go deal with the Chinese, and on the other hand says, I don't like it. We'll watch to see. Government is signaling there will be a number of documents signed. That's code for agreements, framework relationships, a thawing of diplomatic and economic and trade relations. But on the other hand, the practical consequences of some of these decisions. Will we see tariffs come down? Very, very tricky political territory.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything really come from China since Harper and the pandas, so we'll see what comes out of this, Scott. But, it's interesting what you say about, Donald Trump and this hold he has. It's kind of like the non-competition clause you have when you quit a job. It's like you're not allowed to work for a different company for a certain time, but only there's no end in this.
But in this case, the company is the largest market in the world, who we also happen to share a 3,000-mile border with.
So let's talk about Premier Doug Ford and provincially. You know, he's been really vocal about this whole issue. What's his kind of plan with these Chinese EVs and trying to shore up plans to build, plants here?
Well, we're just talking about it through the international lens of dealing with China and what are the implications for the United States. Now let's flip it and remind ourselves how complex Mark Carney's job is on this China trip when it comes to domestic politics. The Premier of Saskatchewan is going on this trip. He wants those tariffs lowered on canola. The Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, has said, do not cut a deal in favor of canola. That means suddenly the tariffs on Chinese autos will come down because that's going to hurt the Windsors, the St. Thomases, the Oakvilles. That's going to hurt our auto sector. Except Ford put this possibility on the table. Except if you get the Chinese to invest here in Ontario, build auto plants for their Chinese EVs in Ontario with Ontario unionized labor, then we would be okay with it.
Yeah.
But again, now I go full circle to what I was saying 2 minutes ago. If we were to do that, Donald Trump would go off like a rocket. So it's very delicate balance.
It is.
It really is. And then the whole big balance and everything political these days comes down to affordability. That's really the key word, no matter what level of government you're talking about, municipally as well. We heard a lot from Mayor Chow about affordability. She doesn't want to lose on that angle, even though we don't know if she's running officially yet.
We know, Nick.
Well,
she's running.
Officially, because we talked about that last week.
Watch the end of the month. So we're going to have council at the end of the month. If you are paying really close attention, and we must, the mayor has been with a 2.2% property tax increase, which is perfectly synced with what the last increase that John Tory, who is speculated to be her major opponent, is. That's the last property tax he brought in. So trying to say, hey, we're the same difference. No advantage, disadvantage there. Other affordability measures that she's trying to bring in, all as a means of being able to say, I'm going to try to make this city more affordable. I'm going to try to make this city more livable. All of that is, I think, a defensive move on the mayor's part to say, I don't want to be attacked as some left-wing progressive mayor who doesn't look after the treasury, who doesn't care about the daily burden that people are experiencing in terms of the cost of living. It'll be interesting to see whether she can pull that off. But she's betting that she can take her base of progressive supporters and voters, add a little bit in terms of those who are concerned about affordability, or at least not lose ground there, and beat John Tory and Brad Bradford in three-way race. Let's watch and see. It's going to be interesting.
Fascinating,
I can't wait for this race to get
going
in real.
Okay, Scott, we appreciate this. We know you'll be here next week as well. Jen will be making sure she doesn't wish you Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I was going to keep wishing you Happy New Year for the whole month, Scott.
Always appreciate it.
I'll take all I can get.
All right,
Good to
Scott,
see you.
thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.